Hello everyone and welcome back to Always Watching. Today we're discussing the Apple TV Plus series Sugar. So briefly, Sugar follows PI John Sugar as he investigates the disappearance of Olivia Siegel, the beloved daughter of a famous Hollywood producer. Starring Colin Farrell, the series really does feel like an ode or a tribute to past crime dramas before it. Sugar refers to the main character, John Sugar, who's a PI that is renowned for finding people who are next to impossible to find. He also just so happens to live in Los Angeles and has an obsession with Hollywood films, specifically old Hollywood films. He lives alone at a hotel. He doesn't seem to have much of a social life outside of work. We don't see him date. We don't really see him interacting with any close friends. And of course, when he does have free time, he's at the movies. Despite his profession, the man stands out like a sore thumb. He wears these immaculate and very expensive looking suits and drives a very distinct car. He's also not cold or indifferent to the people around him. Like in these first two episodes, we see that he's a very caring individual, someone that may take things a little bit more personally than he should, especially given his profession. He of course speaks multiple languages and he has the ability to hurt people, but he would rather not. First, I really loved the aesthetic of the show. The first episode begins in black and white and then slowly fades to color. And throughout the series, we get clips of different Hollywood movies that just so happen to correlate with what Sugar is doing. Colin Farrell also narrates the series, which is really effective given, again, the aesthetics, because at times it really does feel like a sleazy crime drama, but I mean this in the best way possible. Although the story takes place in modern times, it does feel very old school, and the way they're able to blend the two feels very natural, feels very seamless, like it doesn't feel forced in any way. And you do get the sense that Colin Farrell used this as an opportunity to basically pay tribute to the types of movies that he loves so much. Like something about it is really nostalgic. And just like everything about it feels like a throwback. I thought the editing and the camera work were pretty dynamic without being totally chaotic. Again, there is something nostalgic about the way the camera is sort of focused on different characters, and depending on the angle, you can read between the lines and just assume that people are lying depending on the shot. And I also like the constant back and forth between different conversations. So it does keep your attention, like it's very engaging to watch. I also like how the show uses visuals to try and get us inside his head. Like some of it can feel very corny, but they really kind of commit to it in such a way, because when we're introduced to Sugar, he's a man that's suffering. We don't know if he's suffering from stress or self-medication. Often blacks out and loses basic motor skills, and the longer that he stays on the case, the lines between, of course, reality and fiction, they start to blur, right? And they quite literally start to blur. In terms of the story, again, it's very, very simple. The granddaughter of a very famous Hollywood producer, played by James Cromwell, goes missing, and her raggedy family does their best to stop Sugar or discourage Sugar from investigating. Despite being hired by the client directly, it seems that Sugar works for a woman named Ruby. And Ruby looks like a normal individual. However, the fact that she knows someone like Sugar is concerning, and you get the sense that she's just as dangerous as he is. And the fact that they're always meeting at her house, like it does make you forget the type of work that they do. So in terms of the case, Jonathan Siegel informs Sugar that he's very concerned about his granddaughter's whereabouts. She was a former drug addict, and even at her worst, she would call him. So it seems like she has a habit of disappearing, but the reason that he's so scared is because she's basically gone ghost, and this is not very normal for her. Sugar, of course, is reluctant to take on the case because, get this, the victim reminds him of his sister. We're not really sure what happened to his sister, but whatever happened likely inspired his career path. So there we get that personal connection. After accepting the job, he quickly starts to look into Olivia's life, and everything about Olivia's life is a total mess. It seems like she's not that close to her family, specifically her half-brother and her father. We meet her father in the first two episodes, and this man is just a nepo baby at his finest. He is totally not at all concerned about the whereabouts of Olivia. As far as he's concerned, she's relapsed, and it's only a matter of time before she comes back and wants to go to rehab. Olivia's mother was a very famous actress who died in a horrific car accident, of course. And whether or not her family is involved in her disappearance, we're not really sure. But what we are sure about is that Olivia's father, Bernie, was obsessed with the mother. He kind of makes a few comments about his relationship to her, how he would basically die for her. Whatever happened between the two of them, you get the sense that it didn't end all that well. And quite early in his investigation, it seems like he's already being met with roadblocks. While he's searching Olivia's apartment, he bumps into Olivia's half-brother, Davey. And this guy is a caricature. Like, he's an annoying, washed-up child actor who basically does his father's bidding. And so the fact that her father and her half-brother have keys to her apartment already is very alarming, already is very concerning. And I really like the way Sugar moves. Like, he's I don't know, he's sugary. I don't know how to describe him. Like, he's just very smooth. He's very authoritative. Like, he takes the lead right away, but this family is just not having it. And even before he starts his investigation, they're already having him tailed. They're already following him. They want to know everything that he knows, to the point where they're breaking into his apartment and planting bugs. So it seems like this family has a lot to hide, and they're willing to do anything to stop Sugar from finding out, which of course is not a plot we've never heard of. But I really appreciate the commitment. So in these first 2 episodes, Sugar manages to find some information, specifically a picture of him and a woman named Melanie, played by Amy Ryan. And I really liked Amy Ryan's presence in the first 2 episodes. Like, you get the sense that they're going to be partners, or, you know, they play off each other quite well. Melanie is Bernie's ex-wife, and she is a total mess. We're introduced to her at a bar, drinking her life away. And the more time they spend together, the more that she's able to trust him. But again, right off the bat, nobody drinks this much unless they're hiding something. And I'm not sure, again, about their romantic chemistry. Like, I got the sense that they want to, like, it might be going in that direction. However, I do sense that Sugar is a man who works alone, but maybe he would be willing to work with Melanie. Towards the end of episode 1, the plot greatly thickens when Sugar finds a dead body of a trafficker and murderer. We later find out in episode 2 that her car was found very close to an apartment where a young woman was brutally murdered. It seems like Olivia may have gotten herself involved in some very shady people, and given her history of drug addiction, that makes a lot of sense. You get the sense that as good as Sugar is at his job, he may be way above his pay grade, because as great of a job as he's doing, he's always just like slightly one step behind. For example, this body that he found in the 2nd episode, it's cleared out right away. And whether or not her family is involved, whether or not her grandfather is involved, we don't know. Some part of you starts to believe that he may be set up for something he didn't do. But again, you guys let me know what you think. And the end of episode 2 ends with a cliffhanger when the woman who was brutally murdered, her sister, is visited by some incredibly shady men. So overall, I really was impressed by the first 2 episodes. Again, it's very nostalgic. I don't think, again, the plot isn't something like totally original, and I don't think the show is trying to be that. I think it just it's committed to its aesthetic, and it's committed to its story. And to be honest, for a TV show, like, there's not much more you could ask for. For me, I'm sold on Colin Farrell. I'm sold on Amy Ryan. So you guys let me know what you think. If you want weekly recaps, we can do that. Or I can just do a series review at the end. You guys let me know what you think, and until next time.